A couple of hours ago, I broke the news right here that Meghan Markle had announced her new podcast series on Lemonada. But this got me to wondering, with all the accusations of plagiarism when it comes to her brand as ever, did she steal her new podcast name from none other than Spotify? Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because a couple of hours ago, yes, I broke the news that Meghan Markle had announced her new podcast series on Lemonada. I had your favourite DC lawyer, John Witherspoon, on at the time as this had broke, and if you want to know his funny and insane reaction to it all, I'll link that video in the description bar below, and it'll be towards the end of this video as well. But this got me to wondering, with all the accusations of plagiarism when it comes to her brand as ever and pretty much everything else that she's done, right? Did she steal her podcast name, Confessions of a Female Founder, from none other than Spotify? Because I've looked into this and, guys, this is insane. So, before we get into it, this is all my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. I'm just asking a question. I'm not making a statement of fact. Now, for those that missed it, here is the Instagram post with Megsy announcing it all, saying that she's going to be having candid conversations with amazing women who have turned their dreams into realities, essentially created massive successful businesses. They're going to share their tips, tricks. She's going to let them pick their brains as she builds her own business, or tries to anyway, blah, 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 blah. And so what I did was like, okay, let's go on to Spotify. Let's go on to her last podcast platform that she was actually with before they dumped her for being an effing grifter and essentially not putting the work in, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. And it's really, really interesting because I just put in, right, Confessions of a Female. That was it. Just Confessions of a Female. And there were two results that came up. The first one was Confessions of a Female Coach. And this podcast says in the About section, welcome to the Confessions of a Female Coach podcast. We're your hosts, Vanessa Summers, Dominika Lukova, Erin Barber. With a combined 17 years working in the fitness industry, we wanted to come together to discuss some key topics in regards to health, fitness, mental well-being, and all of the other things we chat about with our clients. We split the podcast up into series, with each episode being released every other Monday. And so I looked at that podcast and I'm like, yeah, the name is similar, but in terms of the concept, not so similar at all. It's not until I get to the second result, where it has word for word Confessions of a Female something, where this kind of got me ears pricked up and I'm like, Megsy, are you allegedly at it again? What the freaking do? So here we've got a podcast by Sarah Hendricks, and her podcast is called Confessions of a Female Leader. And when you look at the About section, it's like, oh my goodness. The concept is really similar to Megsy's. And so here, the About section says, leadership is such a mixed bag. There is no one size fits all. And as a woman in leadership, I've had my tough lessons. My goal is to be transparent and open about these lessons in hopes that it will help you avoid or confront your own. I'm the first one to tell you I don't know it. If someone tells you that you can read a few books on leadership and you'll be good, I'd question it. So I look at this podcast and I'm thinking, okay, here's a female podcaster doing a podcast on Spotify called Confessions of a Female Leader. In the About section, it's all about leadership, whether, you're owning your own company as a leader or being a leader within a company that's being owned by someone else, right? Being transparent, talking about the lessons, good, bad, ugly, in between. Looking at this, and then I'm looking at this. And I'm thinking, Megsy, did you do a little bit of research and be like, ooh, I like Sarah Hendricks's. I'm just going to tweak it just a little bit. Confessions of a Female Founder rather than a female leader. And I'm just asking a question here again, not making a statement of fact or anything like that. Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. But Megsy, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, would most likely want to be known as a female leader rather than a female founder, right? Based on her alleged narcissism, narcissists like to lead, from what I know, from what I've been told. They like to be the centre of the attention. They like to be the authority on everything, the be-all and end-all. Confessions of a Female Founder just seems a little bit softer in that approach. Confessions of a Female Leader, though, sounds just a little bit more stronger. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to take that, unfortunately for Megsy, because someone else has beat her to the pulp on that one. However, did she see Sarah Hendricks's Confessions of a Female Leader on Spotify and think, do you know what, I'm going to tweak it just ever so slightly to Confessions of a Female Founder? What do you guys think? Did Meghan Markle steal her new podcast name literally from Spotify? Literally from this podcaster, Sarah Hendricks, and her title, Confessions of a Female Leader. What do you guys think? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and believe me, of course, there's going to be more, you do not want to miss my next video, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatevers. Do you think Megsy stole her new podcast name from Spotify? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.